Well, good morning, everyone. Grace and peace. Welcome to Find the Intersection. My name is Paul Dezay. I'm the pastor of Sandy Hook United Methodist Church in Columbus, Indiana. It's good to be with you today on Thursday. Thursday is Psalm Day, so we're going to get into Psalm 4 here in a second. Let me give you a overview, if you are watching this for the first time, what this is all about. But this is called the Intersection Bible Study Method. It is developed by a pastor named Sam Barber. Came across it years ago from my daughter, and I've just jumped all into this, and it's been a very transformative way of reading the scriptures, and it works excellent in your personal life, but really in the life of the church when it becomes the Bible reading plan for the church, and that's what we use here at Sandy Hook. This chart that you see is the tool that helps us prepare our hearts for Sunday. And these four passages, Luke, First John, Acts, and Psalm in the corners, are the four passages for this Sunday's from the Revised Common Lectionary, which is a 3-year cycle of scriptures. And what we do is each day we read a passage, we jot down our thoughts. The questions on the bottom can be very helpful. If you want to ask questions to the text, they're very helpful. And then on Friday, we put it all together and find where these passages overlap. What are the intersections between them? And then on Sunday, we worship, and the songs and service and the sermon are all inspired by these passages and how they overlap. Just a great way of reading scripture. It requires us to not just read one passage, but compare passages. That critical thinking is so important. And then we apply that to our lives. It's just a great way to read scriptures. Anyway, I'm babbling. Psalm 4, Psalm of David. He's a worship leader, right? And so you can imagine this being sung. It's a quite personal psalm for David. It starts off in verse 1 with a lament. He's crying out to God for help. Help me, Lord. The question of why is this happening to me? Why are these people doing this to me is an important part of the psalm. And then we get to two issues that the psalmist is having. In verses 2 and 3, we see the first issue, and that is that he's concerned about what other people think of him and his reputation. And then the second concern is material possessions. And this is in verse 6 and 7. And that maybe people have more than he does. But his identity is not found in what people think of him. His identity is not found in his possessions. His identity is found in God. And we see that in the word trust in this psalm. This is a psalm of trust where he is trusting in God instead of those around him and his possessions. There is the psalm ends with a prayer for shalom, prayer for peace, protection, provision, and shalom is harmony, completeness, the way things ought to be, and he's praying for that as he lies down in bed at night, that God would give him peace, give him shalom, give him wholeness, and that is a great prayer for all of us, right? Shalom is a theme that we see this week in the intersections, right? And there's one thing I jotted down that maybe is an application from the psalm is that we shouldn't try to escape sin by falling into more sin. And the psalmist is concerned about his friends. And he prays for them and encourages them to turn their face back to God, whose face is pointed towards them. And oftentimes when we're in sin, we try to escape the sin we're in by falling into more sin. Instead, may we turn to God, who is turned towards us. Those are some thoughts for this day. Psalm 4 on this Thursday, April 15th. Tomorrow we'll be back to put it all together. I'm excited to talk to you about the intersections. I hope you have an amazing day today. Grace and peace to you. Take care.